Good morning, everyone. My name is John Benjamin, and welcome to our webinar series, Unconventional Success. Thanks for joining us on this three-part series where we will be providing an inside perspective into the careers of three successful people who have taken a rather unconventional route to achieve the success they have today. For more information regarding upcoming events and webinars, join our subscription list or go to our website, shapeyourfuture.us. So without further ado, today we will be getting an inside look into the life of the owner of The Baker's Place, Junaid Martin. Thanks for joining us, Junaid.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me and for inviting me to this webinar series. I'm very honored to be a part of this. Hello, everybody. My name is Junaid. I am 23 years old, and I studied IT. Let me start there. I studied IT. And the reason I decided to do IT was because I had no real direction in terms of where I wanted to go in the future. But computers, IT, and technology was something that came as a second nature to me. And so that's the course I went with. And this journey started about 4 years ago, around 2017. Unbeknown to me, I started another journey as well. And, life really has a way of, taking you on one path, but then going a whole different path as well. So along the journey of doing IT, I found another thing that came second nature to me, and that was basically being in the kitchen. It was baking. And this was second nature to me because it was inculcated in my family. I come from, grandparents, being in a household with my grandparent, my grandmother especially, being raised by her for most of my life. I was involved in a lot of kitchen work, helping her with her kitchen work. And as it turns out, she did a lot of baking as well. She'd make cupcakes for the family from Johannesburg that visited. She'd make jam roll for us quite often. And so from a young age already, in primary school, I had friends over after school on Fridays maybe, and we'd attempt to bake, but it was always a disaster. It was always a mess. But it was always a process of learning, discovering, and bettering. So from a young age already, I was in the kitchen, I was getting people involved, and my granny was involving me. So then in 2017 to 2018, I decided, you know what, I need a way to make some money. And is there a way that I can make money from this, second nature of mine while I'm studying? Because, being a student, it is quite hard to live your life. It's quite hard to buy things for yourself and maintain your own expenses, as well as dealing with all the university stress and all that stuff. So I did have a job at the time, but you always want to try to get the most out of your time as a student. So I decided, let me start my baking business. And my mother was a very big inspiration. She said, you know what, do it. At the time, I didn't have all the resources. I didn't have baking pans. I didn't have all the knowledge. So my mother said, we're going to shop for these things. So we went to At Home, and when you have a store credit, when you have a card, a store card, it's buy now, pay later. So luckily we could do that. We were able to do that. And when I eventually started baking and things and earning revenue, making money, I was able to, pay that off. But there's so much that goes into starting a business, especially if you're an entrepreneur by yourself. There's a lot that goes into it. And at the time, I didn't understand. I didn't know everything that went into this, all the sleepless nights I would have. So I started off small. My aunt, she works for, a head office. When you work in the head office, there's always the back route dealing and trading that happens between employees. It's literally If you go to any head office now, it will be like as if you're going to a mall. You can get all your products for your skincare, for your hair, things you want to eat on Friday, lunch. You will find all of that stuff there. So I had an aunt who was, I don't know if this is all helping you, if this
No,
information
no, it
is,
is.
I'm just trying to get, unraveling how I came to be. And my aunt, she worked in a head office. And here people are they list for something liquor or every day or every weekend they want something liquor. So I approached her with this idea that I'm selling sweet things, baked treats. And it started off with brownies. I used to sell brownies by the dozens to her every month on a Friday for the weekend. And that helped, the snowball
Well, yeah.
spiraling into something bigger. And then while I was at university, I said, you know what, let me try this here. Let me scope the market, see how many people are interested. So I started selling mini cinnamon buns. I started selling cupcakes, and it worked. It worked. It was a lot of confidence that I needed, um, because it takes a lot for you to approach another student and be like, "Hey, I'm selling this." So that was very nerve-wracking for me. But it helped build my confidence, helped build my character, and then I decided, what, I need to start making this a serious thing. I brainstormed some ideas, and even though they are terrible ones, the baker's place seemed like a viable option. I know it was supposed to be a short-term solution while I was brainstorming something better, like a rebranding, and maybe that will come down the line. But for now, I'm happy because where are you collecting your items? At the baker's place. Exactly. So I thought it was, kind of cute, kind of quirky, but temporary nonetheless. And then people approached me. They were like, "Hey, can you do this themed cake or these themed cupcakes?" And through word of mouth, um, people, grown-ups, adults, started telling their friends, or their friends enjoyed the products. And then they would contact me as well. "Hey, I've got a daughter, son, their birthday's coming up. Are you able to do X, Y, and Z?" Now, when you're starting your own business, there is quite a lot that goes into everything in terms of designing in terms of conceptualizing your brand identity, the colors you want to use. You have to make sure it fits what you are doing, the name, with so much pressure. And it takes a long time to actually feel comfortable in what you are doing, especially if it's just you're seeking no exterior help, or no professional help, should I say. So it's it's very nerve-wracking. Then you have to do things like manage your expenses. You have to do a cost report. What are your ingredients costing you? What is your monthly expenses? Am I allocating enough to pay myself as well as pay for everything else? And for a long time, I struggled with this. I was undercharging severely. People were telling me, how can I charge this price when other people are doing it for 4 times the amount? And the quality of work that I was producing, I was very comfortable. I was very happy with it. And not to say I'm the best, there's always something I can learn. But I feel like I taught myself enough through YouTube, through friends who have helped me along the way, through the search explore pages on Instagram and things that give you ideas and boost your base. I'll show you how to do these things. So I was doing everything that the other bakers were doing, but at a far less price. And I started understanding this is doing a disservice to me. So it really is a lot of cost management, brand management, um, advertising. You are your own advertiser. So there was many sleepless nights that I had to endure working on items, on cakes, on special promotions that I wanted to get out as fast as possible. And it does take a lot of time to assemble a cake, to bake it, so you have to do all of these things. So yeah, it started off 2017, 2018. Uh, it was a rough start, but I managed. Started with brownies. My aunt helped me. My mom's kick-started me. So that is basically the origins of my story, knowing that I have this ability and then using that ability to, earn an income, a livable wage, even if it's just temporary. So yeah.
Well, you answered two of my questions already, all in this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's okay. I honestly didn't know so much went into starting a business, and I can definitely understand where you're coming from with when people expect just because you are how do you say this, starting out, that you shouldn't be charging higher prices. Because I mean, if you, let's say you charge maybe 200 Rand for 8 cupcakes, that's way less than what they're gonna get it for at like Pick and Pay, or one of like a Charlie's Bakery or something like that, where they are charging you so much more because of obviously like their rent and employees' expenses. But it doesn't mean that you need to undervalue your products just because
at the
you don't
time,
have those expenses.
exactly, and that's the thing that people don't understand. It's that even this is your trade, this is what you wouldn't like someone to basically tell you, hey, what you're putting out or the work that you put in here, it's overvalued. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you need to scope the market, and you obviously, as a home baker, you kind of want to also do the research. You want to check what are your competitors. You have to look at that as well, and you have to actually adjust to market value. But at the same time, you want to also be accessible to the public, and you don't want to, you don't want to overcharge as well. So it's a lot of cost management and a lot of pricing and a lot of calculations and thinking, oh my goodness, it's research basically. So,
Yeah,
it's not just university studying that, it's also like learning to become an entrepreneur that you also have to do research on. It's a lot of work, but it's
it sounds
fun
like a lot of
once
work.
you get in the role of it.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. So, what does a typical day look like for you as a baker? Like your typical like business run plans, anything that you want to tell us, just to get an idea of what you do.
As a baker, it's thinking of the future, right? So you have to think what important days are coming up that you can probably make some money from, benefit from. As other sectors, as a lot of economical things work, they work with special dates, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, these things you have to look forward to. So with that comes planning again for something, a promotional deal or something, right? So if I'm doing nothing, a normal life in the day of a baker or at home baker would be brainstorming of ideas to make money, and also finding inspiration on websites like YouTube, or most popularly Instagram and TikTok. So when you are a baker, these things are tailored to you, right? They start noticing the search engine starts recognizing
Yeah.
things for, so automatically you will see things about baking. So it's drawing inspiration from that. And it's even learning new techniques and recipes. Like now I'm in the process of learning how to make sugar cookies so that I can add it to my menu. It's adding things and learning things. It's just I don't want to say that I'm busy all the time, because again, it is just, something temporary, or not temporary, but something that I have, um, whilst I'm in the process of looking for something within the scope of my diploma that I actually studied for. But to say that I'm busy all the time with baking things would be a complete lie. But as of now, I'm in the process of learning new things, new recipes. So that's what a typical life in a bake would be, in the life of a bake would be. It's also stock taking. So keeping track of how many ingredients or the quantity of things that you have, so that you can plan for the next run, the next ingredient run. So yeah, that's basically what encompasses um, being in my life for a day, I guess.
Well, obviously you have quite a versatile, flexible lifestyle because obviously I mean, you do have deadlines, but it's not like a 9 to 5 job where you have to be
No,
in certain
definitely.
time. It's
And
really what you make it.
that's the great thing about being your own boss is that you also have flexibility. You have um this you don't have this intense pressure,
Yeah.
and you can plan ahead for things that you're doing. Let's say, for instance, I have an order in 3 days. I can prep all the things I need. I can take my time. It's not like being a baker is not like constantly pushing out things, right? So you have time to plan ahead, manage your day, and work around it. So that's this flexibility. So that's the nice thing about being a home baker or self-employed entrepreneur. But there's also, like, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like I mentioned earlier, the that sleepless nights where it's just like you've booked yourself for too many things and now you must, or just there was a disaster and you're the only person who can actually,
That's
if
the
you don't have
issue.
other employees, you're the only person who can actually work on it. So you're forced to do that 4 o'clock. So it's like a give and take. There's always that positivity, but also that negativity that comes with it. So,
But I
but
think
yes, for
that,
the most part,
yeah.
it's acceptable.
Well, what were some of the challenges that you faced studying in a completely different field while juggling a baking business, and just the challenges that you face in general towards creating the business that you have today?
Some of the challenges. Okay, I
Just
don't
a
want to
few.
get, but this may be too personal, but I was told that, the floor is open and things, but studying and maintaining a feasible profit, a side business or something, even having a job during your studies, there's a lot of room for feeling very overwhelmed,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of room for things like depression. And that's something I was struggling with. It's something that has affected me. And as a result, it also has affected some parts of my business as well, especially because I'm the sole, owner, the sole entrepreneur. So
It's
all it
just
is on
you.
my shoulders to carry out what I need for my business, right? So when there's days that become very intense and the depression kicks in, it's a major setback and it's a major challenge in a business, because now you have to push through that, basically, which can be so challenging and so tough to do, because all you want to do is you want to lay in bed and you want to recover. But sometimes there's no time for that.
Mm.
And you have deadlines that you've set up for yourself. And depression is something that isn't always expected. You don't expect, fall into a depression. It just
Yeah.
happens. And sometimes you can't plan ahead for it. So I think that while studying was very intense, especially because of the workload that we were over this past year and a half now, with COVID being a very big detriment to society as a whole. So, for instance, last year, 6 months or 3 to 6 months had gone by with very little work being done in terms of university, in terms of actual work for people earning livable wage. It just went drastically.
Yeah.
And that was really a depressive episode for many people, and for me as well, because having a part-time job, I stopped having an income as well. So it's a whole adjustment of life. And that was a challenge, especially for me, specifically speaking, personally speaking, last year especially. It was a challenge that I had to deal with. It's the depression, um, not feeling, especially when here's another thing that is a challenge. There's a thing that is called imposter syndrome. And I didn't believe it at first until I started experiencing it. And this is basically a phenomenon where if you haven't studied what you are selling, you can feel, overwhelmed and not equipped to do what you're doing. And there's been many times that I felt that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be doing this because I didn't study it. How can I call myself a baker? I know nothing. I don't know these things. Everything that I've learned is what I've learned through YouTube or, other people's secondhand knowledge, not university, not
Yeah.
something qualified.
You have the knowledge, but you just haven't been sitting in a classroom learning it. You're not going to
Certified.
have that piece of paper that says, I do this.
I'm qualified to do this. I
Yeah.
can't wave it over someone and say, listen here, don't argue with me. I've got the papers. But so that is another challenge. It's that you're not accredited for what you're doing, but you do it very well. And you somehow still undermine your own ability and that's another thing that, can cause you to undercharge, is that you feel like you're not
worth that amount that
worth
you're charging.
Exactly. You're not worth your work because you don't have that qualification. So that's something the mold you have to break as well, is that when you're an entrepreneur, as long as you do the best of your ability and you do all the research, you do all the preparation, and you try to give the best quality you can, then what you charge or the price you put out for yourself should be worth your time and worth you as a whole. So yeah. I can't think of any other challenges besides that, besides, COVID and everything.
Yeah.
So
no, but
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it did. We had a speaker before you who also spoke about having imposter syndrome because he also didn't study for what he was doing. So it's definitely something, it's definitely something that everybody I think goes through. Yeah. Even me, I'm studying for what I'm planning.
Even people worth accreditation.
Yeah. Like you feel sometimes like you don't know what you're doing. But you do actually.
I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. When I get a job in IT, I'm going to feel like an imposter, like I don't belong there, and I can tell already. But it's something that it's a mold you can break.
Yeah.
You just have to be confident.
And I think it also comes a little bit from comparing yourself to other people that are doing similar things to you or other people that you know. So sometimes you just have to remove yourself from that mindset to know your own self-worth and know that you are good enough. Okay, so for the final question, what is some advice that you would give to students that maybe necessarily aren't doing something that they are passionate about or are trying to branch into something that is completely different to what they are currently studying or what their maybe parents or family want them to pursue?
The best advice I can give is that your ability is limitless. As long as you believe you can do it, you will be able to do it. Now, like I've said, there's like a lot that goes into it and everything, but find the thing you're passionate about. When you're passionate about something, work won't feel like work. And confidence is key. That's one piece of advice I can give to someone who is trying to start their own business and become an entrepreneur or branch out from something that is completely different to what they're studying, is that confidence will get you very far. When you're confident about something and when you enjoy something that you're doing, it will be a breeze to you. So take your time and find that thing you're passionate about, Yes, you can study for something, and it's preferable that you do have a trade, at least 2 qualifications, or a qualification and then something you can do on the side to fall back on. So take your time, do your research. You are a young individual with so much potential ahead of you. You have your life to experience things and your life to find your feet. You don't have to immediately be like, hey, I'm 22. I need to be situated. I need to be cemented right now. because you've got 50 years, hopefully, God willing, you have 50 years
Way
ahead of
more
you.
than 50 years.
Way more, at least, at the very
Yeah.
minimum, at 22, 50, you've got 60 years ahead of you. You can still build yourself. You can still learn, no matter at what age you are, whether you're 30 and you decide you want to branch into something entrepreneurial, do it. Find your confidence and pursue the thing that you love. And when you find that thing, you will live on clouds. And your life will be tremendously, you will just enjoy life. And so that's why some knowledge that I can impart onto you. Another thing is just don't give up. Whether you fall down 199 times, you get up 100 times. And the only failure here, the only failure in life is to say, no, I'm quitting.
That's very true. That is so true.
That is where you fail. Falling down and getting back up is just, a bump in the road. But when you say, I'm ready to give up and I quit, that is the failure in life. So keep working on yourself, keep working on your passion, on goal, your end goal and everything, and you will get there. So I hope that's good enough of an answer.
No, it's definitely is.
That's from the heart. That's what I can impart onto you, is that it will get better. It always gets better. And that if you work hard and you find the thing you're passionate about, you will enjoy your life.
No,
it's never too late.
It's some really good advice for somebody so young. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who has like years and years of experience and wisdom, because not everybody knows stuff like that at 22, 23, Sometimes people are still figuring it out and they aren't aware that there's this possibility.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine as long as you peers, and surround yourself with good peers. That's another thing, people who inspire you to be better, to do better, who encourage you and help you through life. It's just have good friends as well. So yeah, thank you so much. I really feel like, wow, I'm all grown up now.
No, it really is like that. But I just want to know if you want to take a moment just to tell us a little bit, like to provide the information of the Baker's Place, where we could find you.
Okay, so you can find the Baker's Place on Instagram or Twitter. On Instagram, it's the Baker's Place ZA. On Twitter, it's just Baker's Place ZA. And then you can also email us at thebakersplaceZA@gmail.com. Or you can just hit me up on WhatsApp if you'd like. There's a WhatsApp number as well. It's 076 363 6880. Sometimes I also have to remember, because that's another thing, when you're developing your brand identity, you have to find something that isn't already done.
Yeah.
And then it also comes to adding little things and quirks like ZA at the end, because the Baker's Place is taken.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well,
thank you so much for giving me the ability to, put my business out there, and it's really an honor to get to inspire other minds and tell people a bit more about what my business encompasses and what I do. So I really appreciate it.
We actually are appreciating you joining us, because it's not that easy to find people that are willing to take time out of their day to come and speak to people, and just give a little bit of wisdom and some guidance. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.